Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this week's story time with Nikki. I hope you guys are excited, got your wine, got your snacks. Y'all already know the drill. Today's story time is going to be about the time I embarrassed this rude ass guy, a classic fuckboy if you will, in front of a crowd of like at least 100 people. So also, there's like another mini story inside this story, so I'm just gonna tell you guys all about what happened that night, okay? As usual, before we get into today's story time, today's glamour shot of the day is my gorgeous boo right here. Her name is Jade. She sent me her Glamazon shot on Twitter. You can send it to me, Twitter, Instagram. I toggle between the two, but just make sure you use the hashtag Glamazon shot. Jade, thank you so much for being one of my diehard Glamazons. I really appreciate all of your love and support. You guys know that I would not be here without you, and I could not do this without each and every one of you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into the story time. My hair is really bothering me because this is just blow dried. I like blow dried it straight, and I didn't feel like curling it or like putting a flat iron in it, so I just feel like it's all kinds of weird, so excuse me. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right into this story. This actually took place when I was like 21, 22 years old. Around this time in my life, I talked about this before. I was pretty busy on top of my normal usual 8 to 5 job. I was also going out pretty much every evening and every single weekend. I was working a lot to try to network. I talked about this friend of mine before. She's actually a designer and she has her own clothing line, and she started here in Denver, and she's like been doing her thing ever since, and I'm so proud of her. Around this time in my life, she and I were actually working really close together, and I was helping her with photo shoots and runway shows, and I would like model for her. Don't get it twisted, okay? I'm not with like Wilhelmina. I'm not a Ford model. I'm not trying to claim to know things that I don't know, okay? All I did was help local designers, local clothing lines, and like I was able to network and meet new people. I would help out with other people's clothing lines too. Does that make sense? When I say I went out every weekend, y'all, it was every weekend for like a good 6 months straight, like every single weekend. And I wasn't just modeling in these, I was helping put together like a whole event, and then I would like be there to put boots up and then tear things down and like help sell merchandise. If I'm gonna help you with your business, I'm gonna help you with your business. I was actually going out so much that people were noticing like, dang, Nikki, you everywhere. Like I go to this event, you're there. I go to this club, you're there. I go to this show, you're there. It was like I could not sit down somewhere, right? Fast forward 6 months, I'm out and about, I'm acting crazy, I'm with my friends, all these events, doing all these photo shoots and stuff, and like just living my life. One day I was actually hanging out with one of my girlfriends, and she was talking to me about this competition that she had heard about. It's just like this competition for this club downtown that's about to open up, and like that was pretty much it. I was like, oh, that's cool, and we kept like hanging out doing what we were doing. I really didn't give it much mind. Fast forward to like that weekend, and I hung out with my friend who was a designer, and we had this event going on as per usual. It's telling us about this contest that's going on. It's the second time I'm hearing about this contest, and I have no idea what's going on. Like, what is it? They called it like the it girl of this club. If you won this competition, you would be the new face of that club, have a photo shoot, and then your face would be on all of their marketing, right? And then they also said that they were going to be renting out a billboard to announce their grand opening, and on that billboard, whoever won this competition was gonna like debut on that billboard, right? You get free perks if you go to the club, you know, you get some free drinks, you always get free entry. Like, does that not sound amazing? Like, if you just had a club that you could just walk in and be like, yes, like I'm the it girl, like y'all already know, give me my drink, thank you. My friend starts explaining this competition, and then she says that her friend is actually helping put together the competition, and she was gonna be there at the club, and like she was one of the organizers, right? She was like, yeah, you know, she's asking if I knew anybody that would like to enter. So she's like talking to all of us, and I'm like, here's the thing. I don't mind competing, but I will say it does bring out a weird side to me, and it's not always pretty because I'm very competitive. So I don't think this is my thing. I don't think this is my zhuzh. I don't think that this is something that I'm going to be interested in. She's talking to them, and out of nowhere she looks at me and she's like, Nikki, you're not interested in doing this? I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to be competing, and the thought of like people judging me is kind of nerve-wracking. I don't know. I don't think so. And she was like, I think that you should reconsider. Why? And she goes, because she was like, I know that they're trying to find a pretty girl and everything. She was like, but it's not just about that. They also want somebody that socializes well and that knows a lot of people and like, you know, can get people to come to their clubs. She was like, and you know a lot of people and you're always at our events. And like, she's like, I just think that it would be really good for you, Nikki. Like, you like talking to people. Fast forward, the whole night goes on, and like throughout the night, my girl keeps coming to me and she's like, you should probably think about it. Like, let me know if you want my girl's number, the one that's organizing it. You know, do you know the date and time? Like, she was just like kind of dropping hints here and there, like, you should do it, you should do it. You know, they start hyping me up. They start hyping your girl up. So I was like, y'all think I could do this? Like, for real? Because I'm kind of nerdy. I'm a little goofy. Sometimes I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to do this. And, you know, I'm going to be a part of this competition. I'm just going to step outside my comfort zone and see what happened. 10 minutes later, I'll be like, no. You know, I'm just kind of nervous. I don't think it's going to work out. I don't want to embarrass myself. Oh my God. And then the day of reckoning came. Day to enter the competition came around. I'm going to be real. The whole event wasn't really well planned out and it wasn't organized. So the way that they did it, day of the soft opening, whoever wanted to compete in that competition had to come like 2 hours before the opening to sign up and get registered. So it wasn't like you registered and then came another day. No. It was like all one day, right? So I just got dressed the way that I would if I was going to go to the club, you know? And my friends were like, we're coming. Like, we're going to come to support you, so you better be there. They made it to where like I couldn't back out, right? I show up at the club and there's like this long ass table with 2 girls sitting behind it, right? And then there was a girl and she had real beautiful big curly hair and she was probably like 5'9", 5'10". She was pretty tall. And she was standing up against the wall, like just kind of like leaning there behind the 2 girls that were at the table, right? It wasn't long. And then I got up there and they had like an iPad and they get your information. They ask you your name or whatever. And then gave you a sticker, you guys. You know those stickers that say, hi, my name is? They just put, with a Sharpie, they write a number. So I was like number 4 or 5 because of where I was in line. I think I was number 5, if I'm remembering correctly. I hated the fact that they didn't call us by our names. They called us by number, like we were damn prison inmates, but whatever. They asked us to go sit at the bar and just like wait for them to come in and then they would tell us all the rules, right? I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I really hate awkward moments. I hate it so much. You know, we're all sitting there and it's like, at this point, it's like 7 or 8 of us girls at the bar and we're just all sitting next to each other, but not talking, right? So this girl that she was to my left, and we'll call her like Amanda, and she's sitting there. I never met this girl in my life. Now they did have a bartender there and they served us drinks, so that was cool. And so we're sitting there with our drinks and she was sitting there and I just noticed she looked really sad. I decided, you know what? I know I don't know her, but I'm gonna get to know her because this is awkward and I can't. So I'm like, hey, are you nervous? Like, have you ever done anything like this before? And so we start talking and she's so nice and she's so sweet. We start having small talk about the competition, how she heard about it, how she's feeling, like we're both nervous. You guys, we had to wait for a while. It was like a good hour that we were all waiting at this bar. We were having like more personal conversation by this point where we were like telling each other about each other's lives. So I had told her, you know, about David and you know what I did for a living, and then she was telling me the same thing. She told me that she had been in a relationship for like 2 years and that they had recently broken up. I joined this competition because, you know, my friends just want me to get out of the funk and I've been really depressed about my ex, and you know, he was really abusive and he was really mean, and like he would always tell me that I was ugly and like there was something wrong with me. And I found out that he was cheating on me and it just like destroyed me. You guys, she was the sweetest girl and I didn't even know her that well, but I got so pissed. She was like, my friends think that maybe this competition, you know, can boost my self-esteem and I can come out and meet people. She was like, girl, so I'm just trying. By the time the hour went up, I felt like I knew her forever and I just felt so bad. Finally, the girls that were outside at the table came inside. But what I noticed is the 2 girls that were there at the table, they were like registering people. But remember how I told you guys about that girl with the curly hair that was like standing up against the wall and she's kind of tall? Well, she came in with them. And the girl that had registered me, we'll call her Tamara, okay? So Tamara was the girl that was sitting at the table that registered me, right? And gave me my number. The curly haired girl, we'll call her April. Tamara was the girl that registered me and April was the girl that I saw standing up against the wall with the curly hair, right? So they all walked in together. They came to the bar and then that girl, April, she came and sat down with the rest of us girls that were competing. It just struck me as odd. I was like, you know, how come you weren't sitting here the whole time like with the rest of us, you know what I'm saying? So here's how the competition worked. They decided to split up the night into 2 parts. When people started coming into the club, it was our job as the competitors to go talk to everybody, like all of the guests, and socialize. And the reason why was because guests of the club, like the people coming to their party, were going to be the ones that were voting for who was going to go on to the next round. So if you made it to the second round and you were one of the final 10 girls, the last part of the night was going to consist of a questionnaire where they brought you up on stage. They asked you a few questions in front of everybody everybody. They would have the final voting, and then the crowd would ultimately choose who would be the it girl for this new club. The whole socializing bit of it really was not a big deal to me. I was like, okay, so going to talk to people, like I could do that all day, every day. Like, my issue was, oh my God, y'all are gonna put me on stage and ask me a question that I'm not prepared for. I don't know what y'all gonna ask me. Like, what if I embarrass myself? Like, what if I say something stupid or whatever? So now let's get into the nitty gritty of the evening, all right? So the doors open and people are starting to come into the club. Side note, just letting y'all know, because I know a lot of you guys are gonna ask, David wasn't able to make this event because he had to work really early in the morning, but he knew that I was gonna be there with a lot of my friends, a lot of which he knew. So he was like, okay, just go have fun, babe, but just be careful. You guys, I knew a lot of the people that were coming in from either one event or another, and just like meeting people and like friends of friends, you know what I'm saying? Within the first 5 minutes of those doors opening, I had ran into like 3 different friends of mine, and so I was having the time of my life. And my friends, the ones that were gonna meet me there, they showed up. So I basically was like a part of my friend group, and then every now and then I would like venture off and like go talk to a new person. When I drink and I'm like starting to get tipsy, I get really nice. Like, I'm very, very nice, and I'm very talkative. I could know you for 2 seconds, but like I just care about you so much. Trying to recruit people to be like, y'all better vote for me. You better vote for your girl. So I decided to go back to the bar and go get me another drink. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for the bartender. I order my drink. He goes to like make it. I like felt a person come up to the bar and like their arm touched mine, and I'm sitting there on my phone and I look up and it's this guy. I don't know him. I've never met him. In my mind, I was like, okay, this is a club. It's kind of crowded. Like, okay. So I like scooted over a little bit, he looked at me, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I too close for comfort? Any other time, it would have been like, yeah, because like, I don't know you. But because I was in a competition, I was like, I gotta be nice to everybody. I was like, haha, just, you know, didn't want to be in your personal bubble. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't mind if you were all up in my space. Corny, but okay. I turned my head and I was like, oh my God. It's the minute as a woman that you realize like, oh, this guy ain't just trying to like have a conversation. He's trying to have a conversation. No eye contact. I'm just gonna wait for my drink and be like, haha, and then get my drink and bounce. So while I'm waiting for my drink, he keeps talking and he's like asking me questions. He was like, so you're in the competition? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm number 5. And he was like, more like number 1. He was like, I already know you're gonna win. You wanna know why? He was like, you're just so beautiful. He was like, literally the minute I looked at you, the song Senorita by Justin Timberlake started playing in my head, and it's just like, you're so gorgeous. Y'all, I had never heard that line in my life. I had never heard like this specific song played in my head, and he for real picked Senorita by Justin Timberlake. Have y'all ever heard that song? Hold on. We'll play a little snippet because I'm not trying to get demonetized up in here. Hold up. It was like, because you just look like a beautiful senorita. Okay. To be funny, I was like, well, I hope you vote for Senorita over here. The whole time I'm like walking away like, okay, bye. Like, it was nice talking to you, whatever. Thing too, because I was like Saved by the Bell, because they were already like gathering us girls up so we could do the second portion of the contest, right? They do like that whole thing where they point at each of us and the crowd would cheer. The loudest cheer would pass on to the next round, right? Friends came through, the people that I had already known came through, and then like some new people that I had known that I was like just really cool with, they came through, and your girl passed on to the next round. Y'all like me. Y'all really like me. Now by this time, it's a little later, and they had like this little area off to the side of the club that was kind of like a courtyard. The space heaters out there and a DJ booth. So they actually told everyone in the club to kind of transfer out there, because that's where the second part of the competition was going to be at, right? Different lounge areas. And so everyone starts piling out there and taking seats, hanging out with my friends. And you guys, by this point, I kind of sort of forgot that I was even a part of a competition, because the second part of it, the questions didn't start for like another hour. Then the DJ gets on the mic and he's like, hey, you guys, you know, it's time for round 2 for the competitors. Let's get all the girls on stage. We're gonna start with questions. Like a little makeshift stage. So like they built it. They basically just put like tables and stuff together to make a stage, so it wasn't really, you know, secure. And my girl Amanda, the one that I was like talking to at the bar at the beginning of the night, she was right behind me. I was like, oh my God, girl, I'm so glad you made it to the next round, blah, blah, blah. I was like, are you nervous? She was like, yeah. While the first girl was like answering her questions, me and Amanda were kind of talking. She looked over and she just stopped talking, like just in the middle of a sentence. Yeah, I'm nervous. Hey. You, everything okay? You all right? What's the matter? My ex is here. Your ex? I was like, the one you were telling me about, the one that y'all just broke up? She was like, yeah, he's here. And I was like, where? He's like, it's that guy in the red shirt. So I look over there and I'm like, who? Y'all, I look over and it's the same dude that was talking to me at the bar that was like giving me all them cheesy ass lines. I realize that it's the same guy, and I look over at Amanda, and you guys, she's like in tears. I haven't seen him like ever since we broke up, and like I don't think I can handle it. Like, I don't think I can do this. Was so upset and so hurt that she could not stay there. She walked out of the line, took off. I never laid eyes on that girl ever again. I felt so bad for her, and like I was just so stunned, and like the line was still moving. We were on to like the third girl in line was up getting questions. Next thing I know, I'm being called up on stage. Okay, everybody, welcome number 5. Like I said, they did not call us by our names, they called us by the number. So I walk up on stage, you know, very carefully because I'm in heels and this is like not a real ass stage. Up there, all my friends start cheering. They're like, yes, Nikki, la la. I felt so loved, but I was still really upset because that girl had just left, and I was still like in that mindset of like, I can't even believe it. Like, that's how hurt she was. I remember this like it was yesterday, and I don't know why it bothered me so much, but y'all tell me whether or not this seemed like shade. Just sitting there on stage and like all my friends were cheering, and that girl, the first thing out of her mouth, she was like, looks like somebody's already really popular. Let's see if Miss Popular can answer the next question. So she asked me a question, and the question was, what is the worst pickup line a guy has ever used on you? You are so beautiful. Every time I look at you, Senorita by Justin Timberlake plays in my head. When I said that, I looked dead ass at that dude in the red shirt, Amanda's ex, the one that had talked to me at the bar. The minute that I was done, everyone started laughing so hard. Like, I wasn't even expecting that type of reaction. I looked over, and the group that guy was in, like, dudes in his group were laughing. And so, you guys, he was so pissed. The minute I said that, and he realized who I was and like why I was saying that, and I'm like looking dead ass at him because I was so pissed because my girl Amanda had to leave because you done broke her heart, because you were an asshole and you were over there telling her that she was ugly and that she wasn't good enough for you, and over there cheating on her, and then she couldn't even finish the competition, you stupid. I'm gonna let everybody know how corny you are. It's like one of those moments. It would have been the perfect moment for me to just like drop the mic and walk off, but instead I just very gently handed the mic over to Tamara. I was like, okay, vote for your girl. In order for me to get from where I was to my friends, I had to pass by his table, and like everyone's still laughing, and while I passed by, that was for Amanda, bitch. The minute I said her name, his whole face dropped. A lot of people heard me, and like they kind of put 2 and 2 together that I was talking about him, and so he got embarrassed and he ended up leaving. They got the 9 of us. Girl Amanda was like heartbroken. She went home, so there was only 9 of us left. They did the whole thing where like they would put their hand above our head and the crowd would scream for who they were voting for, right? They're voting, girls are stepping away, you know, as people are cheering. It was me, this redhead girl, and then that girl April. Remember I told you guys about that girl, the one with the curly hair, like the finalists? And so we're all standing there, and they keep going between us, and people are screaming and cheering, and they're trying to like make their voice heard to like vote. And that redhead girl ended up having to like step down. April had more cheers. Then it was the finalists, which was me and that girl April. So then they were like going between the 2 of us, and everyone was cheering, right? It sounded literally the exact same. Like, we could not tell who had the louder cheers. Like, everyone was like, it was Nikki, it was April, it was Nikki, it was April, and like nobody could tell, right? Finally, the DJ was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go around, we're gonna ask you guys individually who you guys would vote for out of these 2 young ladies, and then we will let you guys know what the vote is in 15 minutes. They went around with like iPads, and they were asking people, who do you vote for? Who do you vote for? Nikki or April? Nikki or April? I'm having my drink or whatever, and every time I look up, that chick April, she's looking at me with an attitude and like all up and down. It's a competition. If you can't hang and you don't like being competitive and you don't want nobody competing against you, then don't get involved in the competition. So fast forward 15 minutes, and Tamara gets back on stage, and she takes the mic, and she was like, okay, you guys, we got all the votes in, and it was a really, really close competition. I want to say thank you to everybody that participated. Would like to introduce you guys to the new it girl of our club. Drum roll, please. Congratulations to my girl, April. That chick, April, just started like jumping up and down. All her friends were all happy. Meanwhile, me, my friends, and like damn near everybody else in the club, they were like so confused. They were so confused. Like, I could feel it. Like, people were not cheering like that's what they had voted. And my friend, the one that like had her own clothing line, she was sitting there and she was just acting all weird, and I was like, what's the matter? I heard a lot of people voting, and she was like, and they were all voting for you. She was like, this doesn't seem right. Whatever, it's not a big deal, just have a good time, like it's not a big deal. She looked at me, she was like, hold on, and she got up and she walked over towards the DJ booth. At this point I was like, okay, I'm ready to go home, like the competition's over, like I need to go home to my mans. And so I start like telling my friends bye, right? And I'm like hugging them all and like telling them bye, and it was so good to see them. And then my friend comes back from talking to the DJ. She was like, oh, you're gonna leave? And I was like, yeah, you know, I gotta get home. And she was like, okay. She was like, well, let me walk you outside. All right. So she walks me, you know, through the club, because we were out in that courtyard, and she walks me through the club and like hardly anybody's in there. And she stopped me by the bar and she was like, hey, just want to let you know that that competition was on some bullshit. Like, I went to the DJ and I saw it on the iPad that they were using. She was like, and he was straight up with me and he showed me the iPad. She was like, Nikki, you had way more votes than her. Like, it was by a long shot. Like, what do you mean? I was like, well, if I got the most votes, then how come I didn't win? And she was like, because that April chick is Tamara's best friend. If you want me to talk to her, she was like, it ain't right. I saw it on the iPad. I'll have everyone in here revote. You know, fair is fair. Honestly, you guys, I was so tired and it was like the end of the night, and I was like, I really don't care that much. Trying to go into this like he said, she said, and like them rigging the whole competition. Like, if she wanted her bestie to win, she wanted her bestie to win. Like, sometimes females are just like that, and like they be wasting everybody's time and picking somebody that's like their friend or like their cousin or something. Fast forward like a week and it was gonna be like the grand opening of this club, and like the billboard was gonna go up with April. You guys, tell me why I find out that this club goes under and gets bought out by another management company that wants to like call it a whole different name. They completely redid the whole club. The billboard never happened. The like marketing never happened. That competition was for absolutely no reason. That chick April never got to be the it girl of that club because that club no longer existed like a week later. I'm not even kidding. April, if you're watching this, congratulations. Y'all, I'm petty, I'm sorry. But anyways, that is a story inside of a story about the time that I was in this competition, embarrassed a fuckboy, didn't win the competition, but that's okay because the competition was for nothing. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up to let me know. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel and you're not a part of my Glamazon family, what you doing? Let me give you a second to go ahead and subscribe. And while you're down there, hit that notification bell so you're not missing any story times, any Ask Nickies. My family's the best, okay? I'm just saying, my Glamazon family, you definitely want to be here. You want to be one of our home skillet biscuits. Hit that subscribe button. I'll give you a second. Go ahead. Alright, done? Cool. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Peace out.